a song for the weary soul, the broken hearted.
Hello everyone, I'm Reverend Jamie McCaskill. I'm the proud author of the Preacher Chronicles. I'm also a minister right here on Sermons in the Park, the channel that you're actually watching this video on. And all my life I've loved sharing stories, whether it's the jokes that my grandfather would tell me, the old country stories. You've heard me share some of them in my sermons if you listened. I've loved to write. Ever since high school, I've written in notebooks, just stories of different things. One thing I've always loved is stories of faith. I've loved stories of faith, of redemption, especially spiritual warfare. I'm so excited to just spend a moment here right now talking with you about my books, about my journey, and about the incredible lessons that God has taught me along the way. Let me tell you just a little bit about myself. I'm a lot like Joshua Mason, the main character in my series, the protagonist, as authors like to call it. In many ways, him and I are a lot alike. His story, especially the one that you can read in the prequel story, Preacher, The Awakening of a Fisherman, it mirrors my own life. Yes, indeed, my grandfather was a commercial fisherman. Yes, my father and my uncles, and yes, myself, worked alongside of him. Yes, my family did experience a tragic boating accident that left me starting Head Start in a cast on both my right arm and my right leg. Yes, my grandfather is the first cousin of a famous televangelist who I'm not going to mention here. These experiences that I went through in my life shaped me to become the man that is speaking to you now. I have woven them into the story that you read when you read the Preacher Chronicles. And I did that as a way to make them as authentic as possible. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Preacher Chronicles. The main theme of the entire series is spiritual warfare. The power of true love, of redemption, of faith. It's all about the message that no one is ever too far gone to return home, much like the biblical story of the prodigal son. Now, the series started off as an attempt for me to write my own life story, just for kicks. But as I kept writing, I felt, if you would, God nudging me to take a different direction. If you read my books and you're a fan of these authors, you're going to know what I mean, but I was inspired a lot by Christian horror authors like Frank Peretti, Bill Myers, and even Ted Dekker. Before I knew it, the first book in the series, Preacher, A Tale of Deliverance, was born. And then the series just kind of grew from there. Let me give you just a quick overview of the series. In The Awakening of a Fisherman, that Preacher, The Awakening of a Fisherman, that's the prequel story. You read the origin story of Joshua Mason. You read his heartfelt journey through childhood, growing up on Fisherman's Avenue in the little small town of Corinth. From his faith-filled grandmother Gladys to the challenges of youth. The book plants the seeds of the ministry that you read later. Next month in February, there's a new book coming out called The Watchtower. This one takes place 9 years after the end of the awakening of a fisherman. In this story, you read as Joshua once again teams up with his best friend, Richard Williams, and a character that you meet in a fisherman's, the awakening of a fisherman by the name of Cross. And they team up to battle a demon who is pretending to be Cupid. This story, it delves into spiritual warfare as well as heartbreak, because in that book is where Joshua learns of Beth's new life without him. And then, of course, there's the first book in the series, Preacher, A Tale of Deliverance. After years of battling alcoholism, Joshua has returned. He's returning home to Corinth. And there you read as he confronts spiritual darkness, and he rebuilds his life and ministry there. And then finally, the book that just came out in December, The False Prophet, which just, like I said, it just released in December. In this book, we find Joshua facing a charismatic false prophet who's performing miracles and leading people away from the true faith of God. And this man looks a lot like Jesus Christ does in a lot of the paintings that we've seen him in. That book is a powerful, powerful story of faith, of discernment, and of standing firm in the gospel. Writing these books, it has not always been easy, okay? With Preacher, A Tale of Deliverance, I struggled to make it long enough for me to even want to publish it. And then, of course, in Preacher, The Awakening of a Fisherman, I had a hard time with it because I had to share so much of me, of my real life story in that book. But through the prayers that I did, I prayed constantly, and through perseverance, God gave me the strength to bring these stories to life for you. Sometimes while I'm writing, I'll stop and I will pray. And I'll find the words just flow out of me. And when I go back and I read what I've written, I'm just amazed at how God works through my fingertips. And I'll share a story with you now. In Preacher, A Tale of Deliverance, Beth is taken away from Joshua for a moment, and I literally sat at my computer going, well, I need her gone for a while. How do I do this? And I just sit there, and I literally, in my mind, I heard, it was like a voice spoke to me and said, Jamie, this man is a preacher. You have not had him preach once. And I began to type. And once again, using part of my own life, Joshua was preaching outside, and he's preaching in kind of a style that I do. Now, just so I can make this clear, my books are for everyone. Whether you're a Christian who's looking for inspiring fiction, or you're a fan of spiritual warfare stories, or even if you're someone who just enjoys a good horror story that might have a message of hope in it. I want all readers to know that no matter who you are, you have a story to tell. And God is always right there with you. You're never too far gone from grace. Now, if you want to get a copy of my books, you can contact me on wherever you can find a way to contact me, or you can order your copies of the Preacher Chronicles on Amazon. I will have links for all that in the description. And I also want to make a special announcement as well. My birthday is January 15th. From January 15th to January 19th, I'm going to give away free Kindle copies of Preacher, The Awakening of a Fisherman. Do not miss out on your chance to get that. I would really like to hear what you have to say. Now, before I go, I am a preacher, and I feel I have to leave you with this. Never underestimate the power of prayer. I once told someone who was praying for healing, they said, God, if I could just get rid of this headache or something like that. And I said, yeah, you're right, because if he completely healed you, it would dim the lights to heaven. Prayer can change your life. It changed mine. And I know it can change yours. If you've enjoyed what I've said here today, or you've read my books and you enjoyed them, please follow me here on YouTube. You can listen to my ministry more here. You'll also find links to all of my social media accounts down below. I want to thank you for your time, and I hope you'll join me in this incredible journey through the Preacher Chronicles, and may God bless you.
A song for the broken world. Seek, you will find him. It's a call from the risen Lord. You'll find forgiveness for the ones who are lost and strayed. Lay down your burdens. When we're weak, Lord, give us faith. A faith that's unwavering.